So, I've probably mentioned this at some point, but I don't think I've given it its own video. But I feel like the feeling that Splatoon 3 is not felt fun to play has been a vibe recently for a lot more people than I thought, and a lot more people than just the comp side. And obviously, I do think the main factor is just time. Splatoon 3 is going to be 4 years old soon. We have had this game for quite a bit. The hype cycle's been even longer, and, you know, the game doesn't really get much updates anymore. That's just gonna happen. People are gonna move on and get bored of the game. But I don't think at, like, a dedicated player perspective, that is why the game feels like this much. Or at least, I think there's another reason that competes with it. And again, this isn't a topic that's new, but I feel like this might be the era that is the best example of it. I have very frequently argued on my channel that weapons just being viable is not going to create a good feeling meta, and I think this might be the possible best example of that. We're not in a bad meta by any means, but to me, this is the meta where the least amount of things actually feel strong. I feel like every weapon in Splatoon 3's history that has felt strong has been toned back. Some for the better, maybe, like Blaster or Heavy as recent examples, but think about it. What weapons really feel broken right now? Like, 52? I mean, 52 didn't really get too much. I think it's just here because other weapons are weaker. There's Leader, maybe Bow, but it's kind of paint spam heavy. I don't know if Bow feels like the most broken weapon. It just is really good. Leader probably is up there. Anchor's probably one of the better ones. What about, like, any of the dualies? Any of the dualies feel really good? Not really. Any of the blasters? I mean, the most basic one is good. S-Blast is still okay. It just disproportionately doesn't feel worth it at all. I don't know if any of the brushes feel amazing right now. I mean, bows they're fine. I don't think any of these weapons are going to be as enjoyable as they used to be. Roller's kind of okay. I mean, they made Dynamo feel good, and then they kind of made it like 200, 210, and nerfed its ink efficiency. Roller feels like okay. I feel like a lot of weapons just kind of feel good enough, you know? Like, there's some weapons that are viable right now that it's like, damn, I didn't even think about it. It's like, yeah, Hydra's like low-key kind of a sleeper pick right now. That's kind of cool. But I mean, it's like a sleeper pick for being, you know, viable. It isn't really particularly interesting. I guess it can feel kind of opinionated, but it's like, I don't know, I just don't think there's that many weapons in the game that feel all that good. That main weapon power decrease I've been worried about for the past year or two feels like it's kind of set in. 11.0 introduced some mechanics that can make the game feel better when you get on a bit of a kill streak, like the aim feels a little bit more intensive and aura is nice, but without the powerful main weapons to really take advantage of that, I feel like it's kind of become more of an underwhelming mechanic. I just think that we're in a point right now where there's so many viable weapons, but so few weapons that actually feel good to play. And it's like all the interesting and unique weapons that this game has just feel, for the most part, okay. There's some exceptions, I guess. But, like, Umbrella feels okay. Range feels okay. S-Blast feels okay. Dooley is okay. Apple's maybe a little better than okay. Dooley Squelcher maybe a little less than okay. It's just... I know this is probably very subjective. Normally I like try and go, oh, it's because this and this. And here I'm just like, I just think everything feels okay. Maybe other people are more satisfied with this, but for me, I don't know. I just don't think anything feels particularly strong. And I think it especially hurts the high skill investment weapons. It's like, S-Blast is like the poster child for this, and it's exactly what I talked about after the nerf. It's like, yeah, I mean, S-Blast is still really good. It can still do a lot of the things that it used to do before. The balance change that they did definitely nerfed the most egregious part of the weapon. But, like, why would you ever play this weapon if there is an easier version of it that's just as good right here? And this one you can pick up in a day. And it feels like that problem is there kind of everywhere. And in fact, I think one thing that makes this one a little bit worse is, I feel like specials feel like this too. Tri-Strike feels kind of stupid. Booyah Bomb occasionally feels stupid, but like outside of Strike being really dumb sometimes and like flipping objectives, does any special really feel that powerful? I know the skill-intensive ones really don't. Zipcaster feels pretty shit. Jetpack feels pretty shit. they keep nerfing crab, so if it doesn't feel shit yet, it probably will in another patch or two. A lot of these specials feel kind of just whatever to use, like throwing out chum, throwing out screen, throwing out strike, I guess, are just kind of there. There's just not that many interesting specials. I think the most interesting special right now is probably Vac. And unfortunately, right now it's mostly played for Vac spam, but at least it's like, hey, there's like kind of a good amount of cool plays you can do between protecting teammates or hitting a shot, but it's like, man, is it few and far between. Not that the older eras were necessarily better, but I can watch clips from when Jet and Zuka and Crab were all good, and I can find way more hype clips to look back on from that era. And I don't think those kind of things are very possible these days. I get that a lot of people can find certain weapons or specials in this game annoying, and annoying attributes still definitely need to be toned back. There are things that need to be adjusted. So it's like, you know, I definitely think that there is merit to toning some things back. Like S-Blast reducing the short range AoE was a good change. You know, I do agree with that. But overall, it just feels like the past few years of mediocre buffs for the most part, or buffs in the wrong areas, are catching up with the game. Games right now feel like they're very paint-focused or very stalling. They don't feel as engaging as they used to be, and even if you do try and engage with it, I feel like the systems you're using to engage with the game between the mains and the specials just don't feel as satisfying to use. That a lot of things have been dumbed down or made easier or made weaker. And I don't think this is going to be a feeling that's going to change, if I'm being honest. I don't think the balance of this game is going to really be tweaked very much more in the future. I think for the most part, updates are done, and I think major balance changes are probably just done. So, what now? I don't know. I mean, the game's going to be fine. Comp is still going to be interesting. There's still going to be cool things that are going to be winning. Patches can still make things better. But if there was any time to talk about Splatoon 3's missed potential, I feel like the balance of the game falls into it. And it's funny because it fell into it in a completely different way than Splatoon 2 did. I feel like the overall story of Splatoon 3 is going to be overcorrecting, whether it comes to the maps or some of the different modes that they put in and how restrictive they are, to the balance of the game and how main weapons and specials feel. There's a lot of really cool ideas, but maybe a few too many to be juggled properly. I don't know. I get this is a more negative discussion, so apologies for that. I'm hoping I'll have a lot positive to say when Raiders comes out. And despite all of this, I still want to make it clear, I don't really mind the spot Splatoon 3's in. It's not bad by any means. It could be a lot worse than this, trust me. We've been there. I think this is a spot where the game will survive for a while. But I also feel like for the longest time I've been like, I really hope Splatoon 3 gets plenty of time to get balance changes and updates and the meta gets to keep developing. And we're starting to hit the point where I no longer feel that way. I'm starting to feel ready for Splatoon 4 to kind of come here and tweak some of the larger problems that we've been having for a while. But I think we're going to have to live with these for a while longer, given Raiders is, you know, still coming out this month. But I don't know. That's just my thoughts. I don't know if this is something that other people feel or not. But it's how I feel about the game when I watch it or when I play it. I hope that there's something interesting that happens in the future, but I don't see it as a high priority. The game is doing good enough, and for a game that is this late into its life that will not make any more money from any existing players, good enough is probably going to be, well, good enough. Hope I'm wrong, though. I mean, I thought third kits weren't happening for a while, so who knows. But yeah, honestly, that's my opinion of where things are right now. Thanks for watching.